Stay the fuck out of nigga lane. Hey, don't swear, hey, don't swear.
All right. Here we go with another one. We back with another one. I'm Darius. I'm here with my cousin Jimmie. No Games, Just Business podcast. What's up, Jimmie? How you feeling? How you living?
Feeling good on the hump day.
I like it.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm blessed. We blessed.
That's good.
We here. Man. We here to give it to him again, man.
Doing it, man. We here with the sauce. Let's
what we got? What we got on the agenda today?
I'm excited, man. As normal, as usual. We got the topics for them. Let's go with it. First off, we're going to talk about the top teams in each division, the teams that will win each division in the NFL this season on both sides, AFC and NFC. Then we'll talk about the three who will still make it, but, they'll be on the bottom half of the playoff list this year. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about James Harden. We're going to talk about him, taking that deal, that pay cut, or however you want to slice it up.
That's big.
Real big. Then we'll get into the NBA. We'll go east to west. Which one's better? Are you more of an East Coast guy? Are you more of a West Coast guy? Traditionalist? Which one? You let me know. We're going to talk about is the format of the playoffs for the NBA. Is that ideal going forward? There's a lot of talks about, different type of brackets, maybe going NCAA format. We'll see. We'll talk about that. And then we'll follow it up and end it off with the top 10 coaches list from, your boys right here, cousin Darius and myself. And then we will also talk about who will be the dominant force going forward. You could argue it's Bill Belichick. You could argue Mike Tomlin. You could argue.
I don't know, man. I know you a Patriot, but I don't know, man. Bill's slipping.
He is slipping.
Bill's slipping a little bit. But we're going to see. We're going to get into it.
For sure. But let's start with these divisions, man. So who you got winning? Who you got winning what division? We're going to start with the NFC conference. Let's start with the West. Who you got?
Perfect. Coming out of the West, I'm going to go with the Rams. You signed Donald to an extension. You still have Ramsey, right? Still very dominant defense. And you bring in a force like Bobby Wagner. Wow. A Hall of Famer. He can't do it like he used to, but hey, it's enough. Give me Bobby Wagner. I'm okay. Hopefully Allen Robinson can revamp his career a little bit. Cam Akers can stay healthy, and you still got Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, and I'm sure at some point they're going to bring back Odell. We don't know where Odell will be playing this year. We don't know how many games he'll play this year, but I'm sure that he'll end back up in L.A., so then hopefully he can stay healthy and he can finally get his payday. Right. I'm then going to go with the NFC East.
Okay.
I'm going to say Philly.
Least.
Oh. Wow. NFC least. Okay.
Least.
You know what? They don't really have that many strong teams. Some say Washington is that sleeper team, but I just don't see it yet. I'm not a big Carson Wentz fan, but we'll see, right? Because they do got a solid defense on paper. What they did last year was let's see if it was a fluke, right? So, but I'm gonna say Philly. Okay. You release and sign Fletcher Cox back. You draft Davis out of Georgia, who I think is going to be a really good player. You bring in Hassan Reddick, which is solid. You still got Darius Slay on the back end. You also bring in a receiver, which is a need for your team, in AJ Brown. Hopefully AJ, if you heard the last episode, he was on my fringe top 10 because of his inconsistency. But like you brought up, it could be the quarterback play as well, right? So hopefully, I believe in Jalen Hurts. Not many people do, but hopefully they could be a good tandem going forward. You still got Jalen Hurts. I'm happy that they're giving him an opportunity, because I think if you give this guy an opportunity, he'll live up to it.
Yes.
You just gotta you got to deal with the good and bad. You know he's a scrambler, so he can escape the pocket, he can move, which that's the kind of system we are in now. There's no more stand-up quarterback. There's not many stand-up quarterbacks in the league anymore, right?
We'll agree to disagree for now.
Yep. Okay, you don't agree, but okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so then I'm gonna go with the NFC North. This one's a little fishy.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Green Bay, but trust me, Minnesota's gonna give them a run for their money. Minnesota's gonna give them a run for their money. Minnesota picked up 2 defensive backs the first 2 rounds. I think his name was Sin from Georgia, and they also picked up I think it was Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson, who was supposed to be a first-round draft pick, right? So you pick up that, you get your needs in, right? So you fix where your secondary where you were slacking. They still got a good defense, solid defense. Kirk Cousins isn't, Tom Brady. He isn't Aaron Rodgers. He isn't the flashy guy, but you hope that he can get you to the playoffs. It's just, can he get you over the hump? You still got Dalvin Cook, but again, I'm going back to Green Bay, right? They got a dominant defense. You bring back the corner, Alexander. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year. I think if they can just establish themselves as going forward as a run first offense with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, they'll be okay. Because they don't have a Devontae Adams anymore, right? Alan Lazard, okay, he might just be a guy, or Aaron Rodgers can make him more than a guy, right? You got the first round draft pick from North Dakota State. Let's see where he lives up to be. But we'll see going forward there. Unfortunately, NFC South. The Buccaneers is going to take it. They're going to take it. Julio disappointed me tremendously by joining the Buccaneers. Out of all teams, he had to join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why? Jeez. Just why? I would want him to go. I'm very disappointed in Julio. We still boys, Julio. You still my dog. You forever a Falcon, but I'm very disappointed in you. Tom's gonna have to throw the ball 40 times a game to satisfy all these guys, right? You still got Chris Godwin. You still got Mike Evans. You still got now you bring in Julio. You bring in a Russell Gage who had a solid season last year. Who knows when Godwin's coming back, even though he was cleared for training camp. You got overweight Lenny in the backfield. So let's see if Lenny can stay healthy. And then you still got the defense. And like I brought up before, it's their secondary that I'm worried about. It's their secondary. So my 3 teams that are going to be the extras in the NFC is the Saints. That's my Super Bowl pick. To play the Bills in the Super Bowl is going to be a Saints-Bills Super Bowl with the Bills winning. Vikings and the 49ers. That's who I got coming out of the NFC. Let me hear what you got.
Okay. All right, NFC. You know what? I like your list, man. It was real solid. You did shock me with them Eagles.
But do you see different?
You tell me what you think.
Okay.
Rams. I got Rams out the NFC West, man. I got the Rams. Actually, they were 3-3 in their division last year, which is a shock. In their division last year, you could argue was the worst. I mean, my fault. The best in the NFL. Not the case this year. Russell gone. Hopkins. They're half the season. I feel like the Cardinals are going to take a dip. I actually don't even have them making the playoffs.
No.
The 49ers. I believe they will be on the Rams' heels, but the Rams will be able to, get over the top when it comes to that. The Rams, we're talking about a team that you can say that they're a super team. NFL, the number 1 NFL super team right now. We talked about Julio, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. Look at their defense. You got arguably the best linebacker in the league, Bobby, the best D lineman in the league ever, maybe Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, a top 5 guy all time at the cornerback position.
Wow, top 5 all time.
All time. We'll get there. But As far as Cooper Kupp, this guy, he's just getting started. Him and Matt Stafford going to elevate to another level this year. Got them one in the West. I'm going to go down to the South. Let's talk about TB12 and the Buccaneers. They are poised for their best season yet.
Can Tom just retire?
Nah. He just getting started.
Can he just retire? Like
in the NFC.
He does this to me time after time after time again, and now he's brainwashed Julio to come and chase a ring. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It's crazy. It's really remarkable. Like, for real. The big question really is going to be the coach change. Bruce Arians, we're going to see how much of an impact he truly had. I'm not implying it was, good or bad or indifference or whatever, but it's a coaching change. It's a first year coach. Brady, I feel like, will be the LeBron, like he'll have that de facto coach, de facto GM type of feel, like how LeBron has. That's how I feel this year, I believe. You'll feel the Patriot. It'll seem like the Patriot way, or when I say way, I mean the scheme. The offense may feel Patriot-esque, but I believe it'll work. And you're talking about a division where you don't need much to get to the top, in my estimation. We'll go to NFC North next. I'm going to go Packers more convincingly than you did. I don't believe in Kirk. I'm sorry. Kirk was still with no line. Zimmer's out of there, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I think they got a new head coach.
Right. So that defense, I don't trust it as much without him being in a position of power, in a sense. So with that being said, I got the Packers in a sort of a landslide. I don't think they'll lose a division game, actually.
And a landslide.
I believe they won't lose a division game. It'll be similar to what the Cowboys did. And I'm about to get into them right now. Cowboys East. I got the one in the East.
What? The Cowboys?
I got the Cowboys on the East.
America's team?
Yeah. See, the last couple of years, the Cowboys have had a level of expectation with them because of
they had expectation every year. Every single year since they had Tony Romo, they've had expectation. When they had Terrell Owens, they had expectation.
You could argue back in the 90s.
Yeah.
They've had expectations since then. But the difference is, especially with the last couple of years, their roster isn't what it used to be on paper. And when the Cowboys have more expectations, that's when they shut up the joint. And when they have at least a little bit of expectations, minimal expectations, that's when they overachieve. Regardless, in the playoffs, it's first round exit. That's just what it is. But we're talking about regular season, and it's sort of similar to one of the guys we're going to talk about. It's like James Harden in the postseason. That's what the Cowboys are. James Harden in the postseason. The Cowboys in the regular season, they have a division that allows them to set themselves up in a prosperous way. Let's talk about their actual record. We're gonna talk about the Cowboys against America's team. Their actual record is an indication 12-5 of how the regular season doesn't mean much. In their division, they went 6-0. So they're not
beating the Eagles twice this year.
I
would be surprised if they even beat Philly once. I hate the Eagles. I hate the Eagles, but I gotta give them respect where respect is due. And
for sure,
I don't know. You think the Cowboys, but go ahead, finish. I'm gonna let you finish, but sure. I don't see it.
I actually believe the Eagles will be right on their heels. I believe the Eagles and the Commanders will be. We may be talking about. I know. I said I called them the NFC's East. At least the East is the least. But we might be talking about 3 teams at a point in the year. It might look like 3 teams without that division will make the playoffs. Washington, their division. Their defense is like that. They will be in every game. And they have Carson Wentz. I believe in him almost every game
Wow.
except for the Eagles, especially division games. I believe in him
Wow.
against the Giants. I believe in him against the Cowboys. But against them Eagles, that's the hurdle. That's what makes me say the Eagles will be one of my third teams that don't win the division but make the playoffs. The Saints will be one of my third teams. And the
Okay.
49ers. The Eagles, like you said, they have something that other teams don't. When it's first off a championship experience, and you're talking about a running game. You're talking about a team that can stop the run the ball, and again the experience. So I believe they will be right there. But Washington, trust me, Washington's defense is on paper will translate onto the scoreboard and stat sheets.
I believe in Washington more than I believe in Dallas this year. And
Okay.
you know, Dallas gets a lot of love, but they also get a lot of hate too.
True. True.
So it kind of goes hand in hand. And I think this is the first year I'm going to say I don't like Dallas at all. Man, Zeke is literally like a fall from grace. Like he just isn't as explosive as he was before, and we understand that the running back position, takes a lot of toll on the body, right?
Sure.
That's why running backs have a very short lifespan in the NFL. But I thought Zeke was going to be like that all-time great. Like I thought Zeke was a bona fide Hall of Famer at one point, and it just isn't translating. Tony Pollard is looking a lot more explosive and an overall better running back than Zeke does at this time. Hopefully that can change. I think Tony Pollard rushed for like 700 rushing yards last year or something in that nature.
True.
And at times they were giving Tony Pollard majority of the touches before they were even giving Zeke the ball.
That's very true.
And he's he's better in the receiving game as well. And he's younger. So
he don't got the weapons like last year.
Exactly.
He will be a focal point.
That's another thing. But it was always supposed to be a run first team until he started getting into, the off the field issues. And then, he just wasn't as explosive when he came back. And then they kind of surrounded him they kind of started surrounding Dak with other weapons. They brought in Amari Cooper. They brought in CeeDee Lamb, who I wanted Atlanta to take, which they took AJ Terrell that year. And I wanted them to go ahead and take CeeDee, and we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in this year. But anyway, AJ Terrell is still the top 10 corner in the league. I don't care. But yeah, Dallas, I have like I was saying, I have a lot more faith in Washington than I do Dallas. I think they're done. I think they're gonna have to blow that team up.
I do agree. Let's get into the AFC, man.
Let's do it.
Wait, let me. I do agree about them Cowboys blowing it up. They will win that NFC least though. But AFC, man, where you going with it? Where you going?
All right, I got to start off with the AFC North. Started off with your boy. You heard what I said. Your boy, Joe Burrow, man. That's your man right there.
You're giving me this guy. I mean, he's Brady-esque. So I ain't too tight about it.
Joe Burrow's Brady-esque. Okay. All right.
Yes.
So anyway, but overall, the team is really good. They had arguably the best offseason because they hit all the needs that they needed, right? Their biggest factor was the O-line. You got to protect Joe Burrow, and that's what they did. They went out and got him 3 O-linemen. So you strengthen your weakness. You build off a strong offensive performance. I wouldn't be surprised if this team is a top 5 offense with the three young receivers, and you got Joe Mixon running the ball. And you still got Jesse Bates. Hopefully they don't, ship him off anywhere, but I got the Bengals winning the AFC North. AFC West, toughest division so far. I think the Chiefs won it 4 or 5 years straight. Has it been?
I want to say 4.
4 years straight. I think it's the Chargers' year to lose it. I think the Chiefs is right there, but I think it's the Chargers' year, just this year, to lose it. You bring in a J.C. Jackson. You bring in to help Derwin James. You got Asante Samuel Jr. You got Bryce Callahan, who's a really good slot corner. You got Joey Bosa. You got Khalil Mack. That defense on paper, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised they're top 5 defense, right? You still got Justin Herbert, who is a really good quarterback, is going to dominate this league for a very long time. Austin Eckler, top 10 running back in the league. Keenan Allen, my boy, he's a beast, and hopefully Mike Williams can sustain what he did last year. AFC East, Buffalo Bills. That's just that they're my Super Bowl favorites. I think Josh Allen would get them over the hump this year. Overall, they're a complete team. They're a complete football team. You bring in a veteran like Von Miller, come off the edge, who can still pass rush. You just got to get that run game right on offense. But other than that, you're good. AFC South.
Boy.
I'm going to go with the Colts. They were only one game away from getting into the playoffs, and the Jags ruined their season. Yeah. I don't think Matt Ryan allows that to happen. Carson Wentz allows that to happen, but I got to defend my boy Matt. He's not going to allow that to happen. You now have a top 5 O-line, also a top 5 running back, so it takes the pressure off of you. When he played in Atlanta, unfortunately, we did not have a good O-line. So, Matt Ryan's not a Mike Vick, right? We're not looking for him to run the ball. He's looking to stand in the pocket and game manage at this point. It would have been nice if Julio went to go play with him, but unfortunately he went to the dark side. And again, I'm going to have to talk to Julio one day about that.
Colts.
But my last 3 final teams to make it in, it's going to be the Chiefs. It's going to be the Raiders. So I got 3 teams coming out of there. And I'm going to go Miami. As much hate as I give Miami because of Tua, I'm going to say Miami. They got a really good defense. And as long as they have Raheem Mostert, they have 9 million running backs, but they have Raheem Mostert. They still got the Gaskins. They brought in Sony Michel, and they have the dude that played for the Cardinals last year. Can't get his name off the top of my head. As long as they can find one of them to take over, which I think will probably be Raheem Mostert, if he can stay healthy. And Tua has the track team at receiving with Mike Gesicki. If it all lands on Tua, I'm putting the pressure on Tua just like everyone else is. If Tua can lead that team and game manage, Miami unfortunately will be in the playoffs. My bubble team is the Ravens. That secondary, Lamar Jackson coming back.
Bubble. Wow. Okay.
But they're that bubble team because the running backs have to step up. If they're going to be a run-first offense, the running backs have to step up.
Stay healthy. You're right. You're definitely right.
What you got? Yeah.
I got a bone to pick with you. That's what I got, yo. I mean,
oh my, yeah. Get them out of here. We gonna get them out of here. The Patriots, they're done. They're done.
Dolphins.
They're done. Pats.
It's
done.
one thing to take the Bills.
Finito.
I'm gonna get into my list, man.
We getting the Pats out of here, man.
We're gonna start with the best. We're gonna start with the best division in football, the West, the AFC West.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give it to the Chiefs. And I'm not gonna give it to them. They're gonna take it. That's how I feel. The Chiefs have something to prove. The Chiefs have been slighted. The Chiefs believe that Tyreek Hill thinks he is the Chiefs. When if you're going to give someone credit, it should be that coach and that QB, and that train will tick along steadily, perfectly fine. I believe, truly perfectly fine. I think it will be a lot more not backyard football to the extent of running 40 yards behind the line of scrimmage like we've seen the last couple of years, but backyard football on some Big Ben Steelers. Think about Big Ben. He always extended the play to throw downfield. Like Pat Mahomes does that, but on another level, obviously. I feel like he'll water that down some. Without that Tyreek Hill weapon, that will make the Chiefs' offense that much more efficient. It's not like they're starving for weapons. They'll have a better running game this year, I believe.
With Rojo and CEH?
Yes. Those are, to me, Rojo especially, he comes from a downhill, one cut, hit the hole and go type of system. Yes, there was no risky, no biscuit. That allows for play action game to benefit a running back like Rojo. And the Chiefs' play action game is going to be crazy. You still got speed out there. You still got Travis Kelce, a tight end who can excel in the middle of the field or outside the numbers. This is
the best tight end in the league.
Right. So you still got that number one with an elite quarterback combination. The Chiefs will do it and take it. I believe the South. That one really shocked me with the South one because I thought I was going to shock you because I believe the Colts will win as well. The Titans, it's not the year that they're done, done for. You didn't have the Titans in the playoffs. I do have the Titans in the playoffs. That division, I believe, will allow the Titans to still make it. And honestly, the Dolphins, the Patriots, and really the Dolphins and the Patriots, honestly. It was between them and the Titans. It's because the Dolphins and the Patriots will beat up on each other that I believe the Titans will win, and only one team out the East will be able to make it, and that'll be the Bills. The Bills are destined for greatness.
Yeah.
It's not just about Josh Allen. Yeah. It's about that coach, Sean McDermott. Oh my goodness. This is giving me chills, and I'm a Patriot fan. Like this, it really sucks saying this, but for the next 20 years, man, 15 years, they will be a force to be reckoned with. Then we're gonna end it out with the North. You said the Bengals. You said it's my guy. He's not my guy.
That's your guy, man. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna keep saying it. That's your boy, man. You put him in the top 10. That's your man's.
He's not creme de la creme. It's not hard to make it to the top 10 now.
You said he's Brady-esque.
He is Brady-esque.
Okay.
He is Brady-esque. We will define Brady-esque at a later date.
Okay.
But the Bengals will not make it. The Ravens will. I'm sorry. The Bengals will make it. The Ravens will win the division. The Ravens will win the division. The Ravens have something to prove. Lamar Jackson hears all these platforms: FS1, ESPN, Twitter, Instagram.
I like it.
Clutch Sport. Anyone who's talking bad about Lamar Jackson, I promise you, he hears it. I'm not even a Lamar Jackson fan. I actually believe he can't throw the ball that well. He still has a lot to prove. But that team around him, superstar, they're gonna make it. That defense is gonna be healthy, better, the best in the NFL. The running game will be second best to the Eagles in the NFL.
Wait, the Eagles is going to have the best running game in the league?
Yes.
Who's going to run the football? Miles Sanders?
Yes, and Jalen Hurts. They almost copying the Ravens scheme. If you look at it, their line, you can argue the Eagles line is better than the Ravens.
You need that button. Don DeMarco, because that, nah. No way. No way.
Who got a better line, Eagles or the Ravens?
The Ravens.
Well, that may need to be a topic. We're going to talk about those big men. We're going to talk about those big men because the Eagles have year in and year out been a top 5 running offensive line and passing offensive line.
But they haven't even had 1,000-yard. I don't even know the last time they had 1,000-yard rusher.
But they don't commit to running the ball like they did last year.
But that's what I'm saying. They can't be a top 2 running team if they don't even commit. You said top 2. You said the Ravens would be. And you said the Ravens would be behind the Eagles in rushing.
Right.
As far as a top 2 tandem. That's why I said
Yes,
the Eagles being the best rushing offense in the league.
Mhm.
No,
And the difference between the last 5 years or the last 4 years and now is, especially last year, Jalen Hurts last year, the end of last year, started to run the ball more than he did before.
yeah,
Look, that on top of a comparable or solid running back will equate to a 1,000-yard rusher easily.
it's not a Miles Sanders. I like Miles Sanders. I think he's an overall solid running back, but I just don't see it. I just don't see him being that guy that can, rush for 1,000 and be a consistent every down back. He needs to be it needs to be a 1-2 punch with Miles Sanders. I like Miles Sanders.
Jalen Hurts' yardage at the end of the year plus Miles Sanders' yardage at the end of the year will be over 1,500 yards.
Miles Sanders has to stay healthy. That's another thing. He can't even stay healthy.
True.
We're gonna have to get into this rush offense one of these.
We definitely will.
To finding out to make it clear who's the last three? Because you got the Ravens, you got the Colts, you got the Chiefs, and you said I
got
the
Ravens,
Bills.
Colts, Chiefs, Bills. Now you got the Titans. They'll
Wow.
make it. Got the Bengals. They'll make it. The Chargers. They will make it. You said the Chargers will win the division. I'm not too far. I did say the Chiefs will take it. The Chargers, it's a step-by-step type of thing with them. First, let's make the playoffs. Next year, let's talk about winning the division.
Okay.
And I feel like that's what's going to happen this year. But yeah, I mean, we're not too far off. Again, like I said, that Colts one really did shock me. But
I don't like that. I don't like that
about them damn Dolphins.
We're not far. We're not far from each other, but you don't like the Dolphins, and I definitely don't like that Titans pick.
That weak division, but I feel that because who you gonna trust there? Who can be trusted? Derrick Henry stay injured. Tannehill can't really be trusted. Like his number one option is gone. So I mean, I feel it.
Yeah, and they went big on Burke, so I mean, let's see if he could live up to the hype.
Yeah,
we're gonna get into the second topic.
That was a dope rundown, bro.
That was tough, man.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Now James Harden.
Ooh.
What do you think about? We talked about him a little bit. Well, at least I did. Playoffs, he's one guy. Regular season, he's another guy. What about that contract? What you think about it? You think he got some type of narrative he's trying to push? You think he has some type of vision going into his final chapter in his career? What are you thinking?
Yeah. At first I thought it was. At first I thought it was because he realizes that he has everything, right? He has the MVP. He has the scoring titles. He's arguably one of the best offensive scorers of all time. He's made a ton of money, well over $200 million as far as just NBA money. That's not including endorsements and stuff like that. So he has the money. I thought maybe it's time James Harden looked at it and was like, man, do I want to fall into that category with Charles Barkley? Do I want to fall into that category with Melo? Do I want to fall into that category with AI? These guys are great competitors, great players, great scorers that never made it. They don't get the recognition or the talk about because they don't have that chip.
Right.
And I it's sad to see. It's sad to see. Kind of getting off topic here, but we're gonna have to talk about Melo one day because, I feel bad for Melo, man. Melo was a monster in this league, but to kind of stay on topic here, I thought James Harden was falling into that category there of those players. But then I looked at it, right? I actually looked at his contract. It's actually a player option. So he took this year, he gets his money guaranteed, and next year he could decide if, hey, you know what, this ain't gonna work out. I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna go here. I look at the players that they bring in. They bring in a DeAnthony Melton. They brought in Daniel House, and they brought in some guy named Queen. Those guys aren't team movers, right? But also look at their starting lineup, and they actually got a very good starting lineup. Tyrese Maxey coming off a really good rookie season, averaging 17 points a game, which is great. You got James at the point, so he'll be able to learn from James Harden. You then got Thibault, who's a very, very good defensive player. And then you still got Tobias, who is he's a guy you could count on, right? He's that solid starter where you're like, you know what, Tobias is out there, we should still be okay because he could score. He's that guy you could count on. And then you got the dominant big man in Embiid, who I think will be the MVP of the NBA this year, and I think Harden will help him get there. So overall, I think it's about control, player control. He can control his future, and he can kind of fulfill where he wants to go next, right? If it doesn't work here, I can leave. I can go anywhere I want now. Now they won't say, oh, James Harden wanted to get out of Houston. Get me out of here. He wanted to get out of Brooklyn. Get me out of here. Nope. It's my time to leave. He's on his LeBron James, where LeBron only leaves when it's time for him to leave, instead of being that villain where he's like a kind of like a KD, where like these guys are forcing their way out of teams after signing long-term deals. So I think it's really about control at this point, a little bit more, and maybe that championship pedigree he's looking for. But they really didn't bring in any guys that I can say, oh man, these guys, they're gonna win it.
Right.
What you think?
I feel like it. I definitely agree. It's a beautiful move going forward to age gracefully. It's not like Harden can't shoot or something. Like a lot of times as you're aging, there's a lack of skill that makes it, makes major decline accelerate. His skill is there. I feel like it's his mentality. You can argue on some Westbrook type of field. Like Westbrook's mentality on top of his skill is what is making his decline more rapid. AI's mentality is what made his decline more rapid. Harden, to me, it's his mentality. If he so chooses to, delegate in a sense, let others do more, I believe that will extend his career longer than what his body or what his abilities will allow. I believe Harden, he's a weird guy, and when I say that, he's just so inconsistent, man. And I'm about to dive into
inconsistent as far as his play, bro. Like even his I'll give you an example. This has nothing to do with being on the court, but it speaks to your mentality on the court. After a game, he went up and ran stairs one day. Like just did a little workout after the game, got some extra shots up, ran some stairs. Then sometimes after a postseason game, a regular season game, or what, he will go party after a loss. Go do your thing, go have fun, but it also lets us know where your head's at. Yeah.
Just like you taking this pay cut lets us know where your head's at. You already talked about all the different assets he's had throughout the years based off of his greatness. Yes, he's great. I do disagree when you say he's one of the best scorers of all time. Yes,
I didn't say, but he's definitely in the top 75, right? They put him in the top 75 list, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, James Harden is a top 75 player. Yes, yeah. He is. But to put him creme de la creme scorer, I think he has a lot of flaws. Like, I feel like he needs to delegate more as he ages, because it's not that he can't shoot. It's that he chooses, back to mentality, he chooses to not shoot off ball. So now that in a sense,
but he can create his own. His game is the ability to create his own shot.
And for Right, but he's
So
not
that's why
trading, like, his decline.
that's why when he played for Houston, Mike D'Antoni was able to, and Chris Paul kind of helped him out a little bit too by able to bring in that point guard mentality out of him to where now he's the guy to facilitate. He's the guy to handle the ball, and I think that made his offensive game even better because it gave him the opportunity to create more shots for himself. And that's his game.
CP3, you said CP3, since CP3 was playing with him, that's when he developed more of the playmaking mentality.
I think Mike D'Antoni was the major factor to that, but also CP3 definitely assisted in that when he came, I think, the following year.
Right. So I do agree his playmaking did elevate his team, but in a direct way. I would like for my superstar to affect my team directly and indirectly. You don't need the ball in your hands all the time to affect the game in a positive way, especially as you're aging. He can't, off the dribble, he can't beat someone in the same fashion, sort of like Zeke. He can't explode in the same way. He's not scoring. I'm not saying he can't score. He's not scoring the same way. As the great scorers, the reason why I push back is because the great scorers, as they age more effortlessly. I haven't seen the transition for Ray Allen, for example, being able to catch and shoot. He went from an elite 3-level scorer to catch and shoot sniper. I'm not asking James Harden to do that, but I'm asking you.
But he's not the scorer that James Harden is. Ray Allen.
Ray Allen with the Seattle Supersonics. You can argue was a complete all around complete better scorer than James Harden. Mid-range game, James Harden, you can argue, has none. You could argue James Harden has no mid-range game.
It's slightly a different game.
It definitely is.
As James Harden developed the game, remember he played for that Houston team that, like, I think they broke the record for as many threes in the season it was some type of 3-point record that Houston had that year when they was just shooting the lights out. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. So his game developed at a different time. We're in that Steph Curry era where everyone is the basketball game is a 3-point game at this point.
Right, but even in that, the guys who win championships are mid-range assassins. Kevin Durant, mid-range assassin. Kawhi Leonard, mid-range assassin. If you go era by era, no matter the way the game is played, no matter if it's outside or inside, no matter if it's hand checking or not, the mid-range is the thing that unlocks an elite scorer. Imagine if Steph Curry had no mid-range. Curry can shoot just as well from 3-point as he can from the mid-range area. Kyrie, what makes him so special is his mid-range ability, post-game or not, face-up game or not, pull-up or not. That mid-range unlocks him. Harden isn't Dame. Harden isn't Kyrie. Harden isn't KD. There's a lot. And we're talking about this era specific with the 3-point scoring. Now, but if he were to, let's say he had no mid-range game still, and he just simply elected to let Tyrese Maxey dominate the ball, Tobias Harris, he can affect Tobias Harris in a greater way if he doesn't take away from Tobias's usage rate, which he has done.
Who, James?
James, yes, he's
because
so ball
he requires a very high usage rate.
Right, and I believe that doesn't help the team as much as it could. If you hinder us or cripple us on defense, on top of saying I want the ball in my hands, I need. Is it a difference between wanting the ball in your hands and needing the ball in your hands? James Harden and Russell Westbrook need the ball in their hands for them to be engaged and effective.
Yes.
Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, they're not reaching their full potential, and they're at the age especially Tyrese, I would value his potential more so than James Harden's need for the ball.
Perfect. I get it. So as we're in this discussion right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's kind of get back on topic. So
for sure.
So his contract, because we're gonna have to get on this. I like where you're going. I like where you're going there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get in this. We're gonna have to get in that discussion where what do we look for in these superstar players, because we're gonna have to really see What are teams looking for in their superstar players? But to get back kind of on topic here, as far as his contract and what is his future, what is he lining up as far as is he planning on staying? Is he planning on going? Is he talking to maybe another superstar to bring them in? So that's why he's taking that pay cut. So he's like, oh man, I got KD right here. We might get him next year. We can't do it this year, but boom, we might be able to do something. What do you think in that area there is he planning? Or is he ready to win a championship?
I believe he's been ready to win a championship, but his mentality and how to get to his goal is changing because he sees the writing on the wall. Now that's why he's delegating it, asking for people to do more. Like you said, maybe another superstar come here, or Tyrese elevate your this, that, and the third. Or we know that we have to pay Tyrese in a couple of years. So if I'm staying here, which I think he is, I'm going to have to take this pay cut now so that we can pay Tyrese later. Like, those are the things that, to me, speaks to a different mentality with Harden as opposed to before.
All right. I like it. So let's get into our what we got. Topic number 3.
Sheesh, man. I can't wait for this one too, man. It's going to be a juicy one. We're going to talk about the NBA East or West. Which one do you prefer? Are you a traditionalist? Are you going to go with the West? Are you NBA's least East? Which one is it?
I'm going to have you start this one off.
All right. Let's do it. I guess you could call me a traditionalist. For me, I'm a West Coast guy. I believe there's more depth there. I believe there's more experience there. I believe there's more consistency there, camaraderie. And honestly, the stars that have proven it more recently, I believe, reside in the West. So I got the West to start off. What you think?
Wow, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised, but you're gonna be surprised too. And you know what? I'm gonna go with the West too. When you say the NFC East, it's the same thing for the NBA. You know, it has gotten a little better, but it's still the East is the least for the NBA. You know, the West, there's so many teams in the West that you have. It's like you can't really say there's a bona fide team in the West that is gonna go to the championship. Like I can't really say this year that Phoenix is gonna be that team because now we have Minnesota with Rudy Gobert, and you still got Anthony Edwards becoming he might be a superstar one day. You got the Clippers. I'm excited to see John Wall finally back, and with the healthy Kawhi Leonard, you got a Paul George. Man, that's gonna be a good team to watch. You still got Denver. The Joker isn't going anywhere. You got the champs, Golden State, and you got Memphis, Ja Morant. What are you gonna do when Ja comes for you, man? He's going. I love Zion, but come on, Zion. There might be in 3 to 5 years. There might be an issue with who you should have picked first. And I think Zion will come along, but Zion just has to stay healthy, you know. And even that team, you know, coming out, they still got CJ McCollum, they still got BI, you still got Zion. I just think that the talent in the West is just a little bit more superior, because I could say in the East, if you look at the East, there's not many teams that you can really think of, right? You got Boston because they got a young team, overall really good team, but they couldn't get over that hump. When they got there, they didn't get it done. Besides Milwaukee, I can't really say there's another team that is going to dominate the East. And the only reason why Milwaukee is they had Giannis. Giannis is arguably the best player in the league. You know, I like Luka, but Giannis and Luka is like right there for me.
You didn't even mention the Mavs recently just now.
Because
How much
Luka,
you like Luka?
yeah, I do like Luka, but I think he needs another player to go coincide him. You know,
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, you could say Miami. I think their window is not there without another superstar player. You could say Chicago. I like Chicago. With DeMar Lonzo was balling this year. Lonzo was finally balling this year. Lonzo was
prone.
I know. And then you got Philly, right? But I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say the West. West is definitely the dominant side of the NBA.
Yeah, man. That the Luka Doncic, man. I think with or without that co-star, he can get it done. He proved it this year. Memphis, you said, Ja, what you gonna do when he come for you? I'm gonna call Luka, because I believe Luka going forward will be the guy, the Larry Bird of this era.
Of course,
he is here.
Of course.
So
I said Luka's the best player in the league. To me,
but we're talking about. Well, I guess that's fair because you did mention Philly, but when you bring up Chicago, like let's talk about Denver, Golden State, Memphis, the Suns, the Clippers, the Lakers.
Exactly.
That's six. Let's talk about Portland. Dame with a little.
I'm not worried about Portland. Dame. We're gonna have to get into this. We're gonna have to get into this topic one of these pods, but we're gonna have to talk about we'll talk about it off camera, but trust me, I know where you're going there, but trust me, Portland, I'm not worried about Portland.
Okay. The East. I'm not saying a team won't win out the East, because you could argue the East has better top end teams. But if you're talking about depth, the West got it
for sure. For sure, and I think we're on the same page there. Only reason why I was saying Chicago is because it just goes to show you how many teams in the East that you really like. There's not many that you can really, besides the top four, like you said, the top end teams, Boston, Miami, Milwaukee, and Philly. I mean, who else you got? Chicago. There's not really anyone else. And then there was another part to this topic as well. It was the playoff format. Where do you see that going in the future?
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And the play-in is an indication of that, I believe. I can see 16, the best 16 teams making it, and I think it'll actually be a lot more competitive, honestly. So from that perspective, it wouldn't be worse. But from a historic perspective, for me, I'm a historian, and I believe in comparing the game from era to era, and it'll make it that much harder to do so. You have different accolades, different floors, ceilings. Like it's totally different. It's like a whole different sport. Trying to debate football and basketball players, like I'm not really sure. What you thinking?
Yeah, I agree. And it's I like that point where you brought up it might get worse than it gets better, because they're gonna. I think the NBA is kind of in that at the point where it's like trial and error. They're throwing darts at the board to see which one sticks. And, that in-season tournament we talked about the first pod, I don't see the point of it. But as we transition into the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised if they, because they're trying to shorten the amount of games they have per year, I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to that 5-game, the best of 5 series for one of the rounds. And then, you still have 2 or 3 of the rounds for best of 7. I also wouldn't be surprised if they do go to a college system, like you said, the best 16 teams in the playoffs, and there's really no East or West. They're just a one bracket, and you go from there. Right. I also wouldn't be surprised if they did something like the NFL did. So to make the games a little bit more competitive, right? Because a lot of times these players sit out, low management. So they do, hey, if you win your division, you get the automatic playoff bid. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. But I guess we'll wait and see, right?
Yeah. It would feel really weird, but we definitely will see. You ready for this last topic?
Ready. This is the one, man.
Yo, this is the one. Top 10 coaches in the league today.
You're gonna be mad at me, but we gonna talk about this.
You're gonna put some respect on Big Bill.
I ain't putting no respect on Bill, man.
BBB, Big Bill.
You're gonna be surprised who I got at number 1. Yep.
Yo, you know, just because you said you gonna start. No, actually, yeah, you gonna start off, and don't forget to talk about out of your 10, who will be the guy to be the dominant force going forward.
Okay.
Let's say the next 4 to 5 years.
Perfect. Number 1, I got Mike Tomlin, ultimate players coach. 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win. I never heard I never heard a player say anything bad about Mike Tomlin. Maybe Le'Veon, but besides that, AB and his relationship isn't on bad terms, right? This man has never had a losing season, even when Big Ben said, I might retire this year. I don't really care about football. I'll not work out all summer and just come in and sling the rock like I usually do. But because, the Steeler way is they hold on to players, they're really big on, keeping players around. Big Ben is still there, right? So Mike Tomlin's my number 1. Number 2, Andy Reid. Great offensive mind. Was able to identify Mahomes' talent when no one did. Also, he didn't rush the process, and he then maximized his abilities after the fact. So let's see if he can win another championship there, which I think eventually they will.
Yeah.
Now here's where you're gonna get mad. Sean McVay, number 3. Again, I like these. And when we get to the end, this is where I see the future going, right? He's an ultimate players coach. His players love him. He's not a guy that's gonna hammer guys and can't connect with his players, right? Again, young, talented offensive mind. He finally got the Rams to Super Bowl. I don't know if they're gonna win another one. I doubt it with him being the head coach. But he got his one, right? He got his one. Number 4 is going to be Bill Belichick. Greatest coach of our generation. He has 6 rings. Again,
every generation
of our generation. Bill Belichick, 6 rings, six Super Bowl rings. What I'll say is when you draft Brady and Gronk in later rounds, it doesn't matter how many bad first-round draft picks you pick every single year. So you got it, Bill. Number 4. You come in at number 4 for right now, right? Number 5 is going to be Sean McDermott. He's been with the Bills for 6 years. He's developed Josh Allen. He took a shot on him when no one else would. And he's also he's built a complete team. He's built a complete football team. They just got to get over the hump. They got to win the games that they need to win to get to the Super Bowl. That's his next step, is to win a Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl or fail for this Bills team. Number 6 for me is going to be John Harbaugh. Again, a player's coach. Overall, great coach. He's been around the league for a very long time. He's put pieces together as far as building a overall team every single year. Even when he had Joe Flacco, even when they had Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, and he's also won a Super Bowl. So that's why he's there. Number 7, Kyle Shanahan, might be the best offensive coach in the league. But his issue is he has to win the big games. You can't go to 2 Super Bowls and blow it twice. The Chiefs gave you that game. The Chiefs gave you that game. You should have beat the Chiefs. They won with that Tyreek Hill Hail Mary. And the Patriots, you gave the Patriots that game. You in the second half, the Patriots couldn't stop Devontae Freeman and what's the other dude? The other running back. I forgot his name. But Tevin Coleman. They couldn't stop the run. Yeah. During that game, they couldn't stop the run, and the Falcons had to continue to play defense. When you come out in the second half, you run the ball 2 times in the whole second half, and you have a lead, there's an issue. So, again, you got to win the big games. Number 8, Mike Vrabel. His team just plays hard for him. He's just, another player's coach, and I think he'll continue to be a really good coach in this league. Number 9, Dougie P. Dougie P. I'm excited to see what he can do with Trevor Lawrence. Because I think Philly, and it sucks because that Philly fan base and the Philly organization is, if you're not winning now or if it's not going good, they'll turn on you very quick. And I think they turn on Dougie P just a little bit too fast. So yeah. I'm excited to see him back in the league with the Jags, and let's see what he can do. Number 10 is going to be Matt LaFleur. Another young coach, offensive minded, but he has to get control of the team. He has to stop allowing Aaron Rodgers to control every narrative that comes out of the Green Bay organization. Aaron Rodgers holds those guys hostage, and it's to Aaron Rodgers' benefit and not the team's benefit. So I think once Aaron leaves and he's able to bring in his guy that he can develop and coach, I think he can get them one. I think he can get them at least one at some point, but Aaron Rodgers is just holding him back. And as far as the last question is who would dominate this league in the future, I don't think it's just one individual coach. I think it's going to be a multiple, and I think it's going to continue to be these offensive-minded young college coaches that can put pressure on defenses to stop the this offensive game. It was always defense wins championships, right? But not anymore. Actually, out of the last 8 Super Bowls, 7 of those offenses were at least top 10 offenses in the league out of the last 8 Super Bowls.
All right. I'm definitely not going to respond to that last one because that's going to segue us into.
I mean, the numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
It does take both great offenses and great defenses.
Yes.
More so great offenses nowadays, but defense will always, just like mid-range, it will always be the key. Defense will always be the key.
Okay.
To championships. But all right, I'm not mad at your top list. You wasn't too disrespectful, Bill. I thought Bill was gonna be off the top.
Nah. I can't disrespect him like that. Yo. I can't do that to Bill.
For sure. So I'm gonna start off with Andy Reid. Andy Reid to me is the best coach in the game today, and it's his level of consistency, his GMI, his like he checks off every box. Honestly, like he can be a player's coach if he needs to. He can X's and O's to death. He has the resume. He has a Super Bowl. He has a Super Bowl appearance with and without Patrick Mahomes. Donovan McNabb is great, but he's not, point. You know what I'm saying? So he is number one. He is the standard. Bill Belichick is number 2. What we did making the playoffs last year with Mac Jones, that is an accomplishment, bro. That is an accomplishment. His lack of GM abilities takes away from his coaching abilities, and yet he's still an all-time great coach in any generation.
Okay.
his GM, if he was able to, he's like Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is one of the best owners of all time. One of the worst GMs. Yes, but one of the worst GMs of all time.
Okay.
Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches of all time, one of the worst GMs of all time. I don't give a damn about the time. I do give a damn about the Tom Brady draft picks, but that does not take away from all the misses year after year after year. To trade that asset away and get somebody in on a defensive line to get a pass rush, pay somebody, keep players, do something. If you're going to be the GM and the coach, be at least a solid GM and water down the coaching some. I don't mind that because to me, I feel like our organization would be in a better. He has too much control over the organization in my eyes, but his coaching unmatched, unquestioned, and his roster, he can do a little with a lot. He can do a lot with a little. Reverse that. Mike Tomlin, very, very similar to Bill Belichick. Without the greatness, as far as being able to view talent early on in his career, because Belichick was solid at that early on, clearly, but recently it's been trash. Mike Tomlin's able to evolve. He reminds me of Greg Popovich a lot. He's able to evolve with the times. If this is needed, I got you. If that's needed, I got you. He's not X's and O's to death, but he is a defensive mind. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing.
For sure.
He's a traditionalist, it seems. And like you said, the players coach, him and Andy Reid, I don't think it gets much better. Even Pete Carroll, you could put him up there. And yeah, Sean McVay.
Nah, I'm done with Pete. I'm done with Pete. Pete got to go.
We gonna talk about Pete. All right. So and to your point, as far as consistency, like Mike Tomlin, besides Belichick, his level of consistency is different. Like it's real different. Kyle Shanahan, he's number 4 on my list.
Okay.
Number 4. His offensive mind, to me, is alone, and his experience and his bloodline is what brings him to the upper echelon. You talk about Sean McVay, someone who's gotten it done. He challenged him. He challenges him in the big games with less, way less. You talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is not even a top 15 quarterback on most people's lists. You talk about his defense. He has Fred Warner, who's another big name, Nick Bosa. Cool. And he's been injury prone in a sense, looking for money. The running game is consistent no matter who's behind.
Facts. Back
there. You don't need a top Zeke. You don't need that. Offensive line.
Just imagine if you had it. Wow.
What? And that's why he's so far ahead of a lot of these guys, because he has so much less, and he just made it twice. And yes, he made it as an offensive coordinator, and you talking about the Falcons and how he's in a sense is the reason why I would place blame on the head.
He's one of the reasons.
Good.
There was many reasons, but he was a part of that reason.
Right. And every time he's come up short in those big games, he's been one of the latter reasons as to why they lost that game.
For sure.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Matt Ryan, inconsistent play, trash play, lack of clutch ability when the time presents itself. The pass to Emmanuel Sanders, that wins the game. The Tyreek Hill, that wouldn't even matter. If you simply, Matt Ryan, dead the ball, take a sack, don't fumble it. That saves the game. If you simply kick a field goal, you can put that on the head coach, because typically when we decide to take points here or not take points, that's on the head coach. He was an offensive coordinator at that point in time. So I do agree that he comes up short, but he's been there, and I value being there, especially when you weren't the driving force as to why you lost. Shanahan is a dog. He will win one going forward. Sean McDermott is right behind him over Sean McVay. He's the real Sean, and he will prove it going forward.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say it right now. You said multiple coaches. I like that take. I love that take, actually. Sean McDermott, the real Sean, he will be the dominant force going forward. And right behind him is the fake Sean, Sean McVay. Okay. McVay has so much at his disposal. It's ridiculous. Like, it reminds me of LeBron. I'm sorry, I'm going to go here. It reminds me of LeBron when he went to Miami. Not 1, not 2, not 3. McVay, I understand that the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator leads your coaching staff year in and year out, which speaks to something that you have here. It speaks to a great tree. But don't take all the credit for Aaron Donald being the best or top 3 defensive player of all time. Jalen Ramsey, the best corner of all time. Matt Stafford, a proven quarterback who just needed the opportunity. Cooper Kupp, a top 5 receiver right now. Von Miller, like Odell Beckham. Like, you could keep going. The left tackle, Whitford. Like, there's stars everywhere. His biggest attribute, yes, he's an X's and O's guy, but his biggest attribute is being able to galvanize troops.
Yes.
That's a lot of value in that. But a lot of these guys on this list already do that. So if you plug and play coaches, a lot of the guys that we just named, especially the top 5, they can do what he's been doing with the Rams.
Okay, I could agree to a certain extent.
Okay,
I can agree to a certain extent.
Right behind him, we're gonna go with an old timer sort of John Harbaugh. I believe he's very similar to McVay in the sense that he has benefited from a lot of superstars. There's a lot of things that are yet to be proven as far as consistency. And yes, he does win, but winning the big game consistently is my question. When Mike Vrabel, the guy right behind him, he's 8 for me. When he beats you head to head, when the expectation from top to bottom is that your roster's better, your quarterback's better. Like, the key components to a team in the playoffs, being able to run the ball, stop the run, you have those things. There's not anything you're missing. You have what you need. You may not have what Sean McVay has in a sense, but you have enough, and you're not able to get it done. He's 7. Vrabel is 8. To me, he needs to be more X's and O's. He needs that nice offensive coordinator next to him. He needs that offensive guru right next to him to be able to maximize the Tannehills. I feel like other coaches on this list will be able to come in and do more with Tannehill than what Vrabel has. And because of that, he's 8. And then Matt LaFleur. You have Aaron Rodgers. Mike McCarthy got 1 championship out of him. You can't get 1? You talking about NFC championship appearance year in and year out, back to back to back, and you losing to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, that's why I said that's where him being a young coach and him not having a control of the team that he's supposed to have. Yeah. But he should. And that's why I said eventually I think he'll win one when he's able to get Rodgers out of there, because Rodgers holds that team hostage. And there's nothing they can really do unless they just said, "Get out of here." Unless they tell them to just get out, and just they just understand that they're gonna have to, they got to go full blown with the backup, the young kid, Jordan Love, or they find someone else in the draft, or they trade up and get someone. But yeah, I agree. He should definitely be able to win one.
And that's a great point. I feel it's hard to do that, especially with a superstar. Like, you're talking about major ego. He has, it's Aaron Rodgers. But if you had the opportunity, like, Aaron Rodgers was looking bad in this scenario. Like, it's not like the narrative was changed so much so that Aaron Rodgers was seen as an angel. He was, in a lot of people's eyes, seen as the bad guy. You had the opportunity to put your big boy pants on, put your foot down, and say, this is what's going on, and this is where the direction of the organization is going to go. I don't feel like if you can do it now, you're going to be able to do it later. This is your best. This is his best opportunity to win a championship this year. Actually, last year, honestly, but this year isn't bad. Isn't far off either. He's in that 9. He has a lot of potential, and I believe he can do more without Aaron Rodgers. And when I say more, I mean win a championship, but in a different role, maybe offensive coordinator. I don't see it as a head coach. Now, number 10, you say you tired of Pete? Not me, not yet.
I'm done with Pete.
His level of consistency. He not only made it once but twice. He did mess up by not giving it to. He did not give it to Marshawn, and now he's reaping the not the reward, but the consequence. He now has it's a big consequence. You could argue he's cursed. That individual is cursed. Russell Wilson, now he has Drew Lock and what Geno. Yeah, nah. But Pete is able to galvanize troops like no other. And like maybe Mike Tomlin.
I don't think he could do it like he used to. That's what I'm saying. He fell off.
He is definitely, and I think it's due to age. But even with his age, I feel like there's a certain level of respect he would get more so than before. Not as much pushback.
Even the things he says is just like
outlandish.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, oh yeah, I think we should give Colin Kaepernick I think someone should give Colin Kaepernick a tryout. If you think someone should give him
you about to add 20 minutes to this. You about to add 20 minutes to this because
hey, don't get me wrong.
Yes, he should get out.
I of course. What I'm saying is he made that comment. And instead of just saying, you know what, we're gonna bring in Colin Kaepernick as a tryout, he says, oh, someone should bring in Colin Kaepernick as a tryout. Just the things he just says is just super outlandish, and it's just like once he lost that Super Bowl, it was like a curse was put on him and his team, and I just don't. That's why I said Pete fell off. He's not the same guy he used to be. But also, you can say he had the talent around him as well, even though they developed a lot of those players. Oh, I think the only first rounder was Earl Thomas. But even in college, he had Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lendell White, and a dominant defense. I mean, come on.
True.
True.
Now, McVay can be Pete Carroll if he's consistent.
For sure.
But the thing with Pete Carroll, though, is he's able to galvanize troops that aren't easy to galvanize. I would argue Aaron Donald's personality is a little bit easier than Richard Sherman's. I would argue Jared Goff is a lot easier, or even Matt Stafford is easier to deal with than Russell Wilson with a bad line. Like, he's already pissed off. Like, he's been Marshawn Lynch. I'm not saying Marshawn Lynch is some nutcase or something, but I'm not going to say he's easy to, get along with either. He's just here so you don't get fined. So it's a lot with Pete Carroll, like, outside the surface. Like, I feel like in the locker room, like, the way he shakes the room, it just would be, I see that through the screen. Like, if I'm Colin Kaepernick, I would want to go try out for y'all. You're speaking about all 32 teams. I want to go try out for you.
Yeah.
Because through this camera, he has a certain type of, like, motivational workout, personal trainer type of feel, but as a coach, and he knows his shit. Like, he has everything, but just the ages. I think that's what's doing it for him.
Yeah, I don't think he can connect with these players nowadays. And I personally think that rah-rah, it's my way or the highway type of coaching style and even player style. Like, we're gonna have to get into this one day where, the difference between like a Jordan galvanizing his team and a LeBron James, the way they do it, it's a little different because you can't that doesn't work for like nowadays players would like buck back at you before they, buy in. Right. So I don't know, Pete. Yeah. Like I just bring it back to what you said. Pete is cursed. And I that's why he's outside of my top 10, because I just don't see it. After what he did in that Super Bowl, he lost all his players. Mm-hmm. After that, no one believed in him.
Definitely did.
No one wanted to play for him.
They should have blew it up around that time. They should have blew it up like sooner.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This was a good one, man. This was a good one.
We're gonna wrap it up. Oh yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. It definitely was a great one.
I like that. I like this. This is definitely a good pod.
For sure.
We got a lot of good topics. We're gonna be bringing out some more. We appreciate y'all listening in.
Definitely appreciate y'all, man.
And then
keep coming.
Yep. Until next time.
Content, man.
Peace.
Sure.
This that COMEUP. Stand back while I do me. I'm the King James of this era. Do my best to be 2-3. You see the metaphoric beat destroying MC. They had to wait his turn, sit and learn from the OGs, but slowly I had myself out like a slowly get take paper to make paper. So I'm speaking from this loose leaf. Damn. I ain't even gotta talk about it. They said you public in the basement, but your songs is private. Bring back the monster, the one that you keep locked in. Shit, I ain't gotta score the points. Look at John Stockton. I put my niggas on just so they can make a profit. But for now, I ain't get up and play that monster in the closet.